Okay, so after I finished filming the video, I started playing a little bit with it off camera, and there's something I wanted to add, so I thought I'll just do a part 2 where I quickly tell you a couple more things. So one thing I have also noticed is where I put a lot of ink, just zoom in for you. So for example, this area here, when you dab it off, it kind of has a matte look to it. However, if you leave it to dry thickly, when it's laid on thickly, it will dry with that glossy look, you can see. Whereas if you look at this bit here, it's matte. So that's a good thing to know. The other thing is, although it's glossy and it kind of looks like it might be still wet, when I go in with my finger there is no transferal. However, it does smudge. Did you see that? There you go, so it does smudge. So be aware of that before you ruin your piece of art that you're creating. Another thing I wanted to come back to is about that reservoir in the bottle. So in the first part you saw me being slightly confused why there is a plastic bit, but apparently when you come to the end of the bottle and there is a little bit of the ink right at the bottom, that reservoir helps to basically, then you need to tilt it upside down and bring it back up, and what it does, it somehow collects that ink and puts it up that reservoir, so it makes it easier for you to get out the ink rather than just sort of trying to kind of, you know, fish around it at the bottom of the bottle. So that's quite neat actually. I obviously don't know if it works or not because I haven't tried it. Now, one more thing I want to do is I want to see how gesso works in this, because if you remember, I told you, let me see, where was it? Here, that Noodler's ink made a complete mess with gesso. So I want to see how this ink works. And let me just get my humongous tub of gesso. Okay, so this is my 500ml gesso tub. I'm just going to use some of this in the lid. So so basically it doesn't make a mess. You can see that the line underneath it has moved slightly, but not too much. Let me try and cover this flower up. I don't like it too much. So this is watercolor, so it's going to smudge a little bit anyway. So I'll have to go a couple times over it, but it's not as bad as what I experienced with my Noodler's ink. That was a big mess, like huge mess. Okay, so I'm just going to go around it, and then I'm going to wait a little bit and do a second coat. Okay, so I have dried it a little bit with my heat gun. As you can see, there is more residue from the watercolor than the actual ink. So yeah, second coat covers it almost completely, so it's much easier to work with this ink if you need to correct something. Basically, gesso is an amazing discovery for me, because it just you can throw it on anything you don't like and you can completely cover something up and just start over. So I hope this helped you. Predominantly the reason I wanted to show you how I use ink, gesso over ink is because gesso is a product that I use quite often in my illustrating and journaling. So yeah, that was quite useful for me, and I do like how it works with the carbon ink. So I hope you found this useful, and thanks for watching. See you soon.